We have made it to the trade deadline here in the Portland Trailblazers, MyNBA franchise here on NBA 2K24. And our team is in an interesting spot as we're 27-24. We've exceeded expectations, and we currently have ourselves penciled in for a playoff spot as we're in 6th place in a very competitive Western Conference. And there's a number of teams not too far behind on our tail, and presumably some of these teams at the top of the conference will get better today. Our rise to 6th place has been surprising because we've mostly been on the outside of the top 6, and we have been struggling as of recent, but other teams near us have struggled even more, which has given us the opportunity to jump into the top 6 despite all the injuries that we've gotten over the last couple of weeks. Through the first 30 to 35 games of the year, our team was abnormally healthy, and I figured that would probably change, and yeah, it has. Our arguably 3 best players, Shaedon Sharpe, DeAndre Ayton, and Scoot Henderson, are all nursing injuries. Scoot probably will be back within the next day or so, but that's 3 key starters out, along with second-round rookie Fritz Bengaro, who broke his leg in the G League. So that's 4 guys with the team who are currently injured. Now, presumably along with Scoot, Sharpe and DeAndre Ayton should be back pretty soon around the end of the All-Star break. But for now, our lineup looks very depleted, with only 2 healthy starters being Anthony Simons, who had a crazy buzzer beater in double overtime against the Hornets in the last episode, along with the rookie Darius Springer. So we're going to simulate up to the trade deadline, which is officially February 6th. We play against the Suns that day, so we've got 2 games prior, both of which are at home against the Eastern Conference leading Cleveland Cavaliers, and then the Utah Jazz, who are no slouch in their own right, also fighting for a play-in spot in the Western Conference. First things first, Scoot Henderson is officially back before the Cleveland game, which is nice. The All-Star Draft is also here. Now, in real life, the NBA has removed the All-Star Draft. We're going back to East versus West. But for this season, we'll have one more All-Star Draft, I guess, between Team Giannis and Team Luka. Unsurprisingly, no Blazers on the All-Star team. We do have a few first-timers, though, with Scotty Barnes, Paolo Banchero, and Evan Mobley. Scoot Henderson coming back is definitely going to make things a lot better for us, especially offensively. But right when he comes back, Ochai Agbaji, pinched nerve in the back. He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. The injury bug very clearly alive and well. We talked about Agbaji in the last episode, how well he's performing. Despite his minutes going down, he's averaging more points per game on ridiculous efficiency. He quietly looks like a potential stud of the year candidate, as he has certainly succeeded expectations and has taken a leap up. We ended up going 2-0 in the 2 games we simulated, beating the Cavaliers in overtime, the best team in the Eastern Conference. Too much for Scoot Henderson, who nearly gets a 30-point triple-double in his first game back in close to a month at this point, with 30, 10, and 7 in the win. And then we ended up beating the Jazz by 7. So we are now 29-24 here at the deadline, still in 6th place, a game and a half out of 5th. A game and a half out of 7th. And our roster's in an interesting spot because we've obviously got plenty of young talent. We've got plenty of draft picks, 3 first-rounders this year with a multitude of picks in the future. And we do hypothetically have the assets to potentially make a big move, whether it's now or later. There are a lot of guys who could potentially be available for trade. We went over some of these names in the offseason because the 2025 free agency class is stacked. And this is an offseason that general managers have been waiting for a while. So I wanted to look at the top of the league and the bottom of the league, see who's going to be buyers, see who's going to be sellers. The 3 main headlining names in this year's free agency class is going to be Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum. The last 2 guys are not going to be moved. Cleveland and Boston are in 1st and 2nd of the Eastern Conference. I could see these 2 teams maybe trying to make another move to help themselves solidify their standing as the class of the Eastern Conference while simultaneously trying to convince their 2-star players to stick around. As for Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think the storyline here is very different. So Giannis is a player option that he is going to decline, entering himself into the open market, and he has made it very clear that he is happy to stick around in Milwaukee if the team is winning and making a strong attempt to win. Well, that's not the case. They are 18-30. They've tried to basically run it back with their current core. They've added guys like Russell Westbrook and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Not only has that not moved the needle, but this is flat out a bad basketball team. And I think Giannis's days in Milwaukee are numbered. I think Milwaukee moves him now, gets what they can for him, and starts over. Along with those three guys, there are some other players who could potentially be on the move. A guy who I think surely gets traded is De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento. We talked about this as a possibility in the offseason as soon as they drafted Jaden Prospero with the 3rd pick in the draft. And they had to pick Prospero. He was the best prospect on the board by far, and he is arguably the best rookie in this year's class so far. He's had a great year with Sacramento. The problem is, his skill set is very similar to that of De'Aaron Fox. They're both slashing guards who can't really space the floor and are very on-ball dominant. So because of that, they don't complement each other very well. With Prospero being this team's point guard of the future, De'Aaron Fox doesn't really fit here. He has still been really good, but the Kings are not. They're 20-29. They have been a massive disappointment for 2 years in a row now, and it just makes sense to try to capitalize on De'Aaron Fox's still very high trade value and make a move here. Lauri Markkanen is a free agent after this year with the Jazz, and you guys know Danny Ainge. He loves getting as much assets as possible. Maybe he's a long-term piece here, but I could see the Jazz moving him, trying to get some more picks, or possibly a really good young player. Some other teams and players to watch out for with the Mavericks, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are both guys whose statuses there could be monitored, but the Mavericks have been really good this year, so I think both of those guys are going to be pretty happy as is, at least for the time being. Another potential wild card could be Jimmy Butler. The Miami Heat have been disappointing this year. They're only in 7th place in the Eastern Conference. Jimmy's a free agent. He has significantly regressed statistically, and maybe they let him go. Maybe they don't want to give him a big deal, and maybe they trade him and really focus on building around Damian Lillard and Bam Adebayo. He's still Jimmy Butler, but the volume as a scorer has been down, and he's 35 years old. He is really showing signs of age. Outside of their big three, the rest of the roster is lackluster. I do think it's a long shot, but it is a possibility. There are some guys who are not free agents, but I still think could potentially be available to be dealt for the right price. We'll start with Joel Embiid in Philadelphia. The 76ers were on the 1-yard line to sign Paul George last year, and it didn't happen. And their roster is very mediocre, but the team is still performing well. They are in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. So for right now, I think Joel Embiid feels pretty good, especially with Tyrese Maxey really taking a leap forward. As for Atlanta, the Hawks traded for Pascal Siakam last year at the deadline, only to lose him in free agency. Trae Young and DeJounte Murray could be a little bit disgruntled. Trae only has 2 years left on his deal. I think the Hawks are really going to try to get what they can out of those guys and hold on to them, but I think it is a possibility. So what does this mean for the Blazers? Because hypothetically, we do have enough to go out and get a big piece, but I don't think the time is right. Sure, maybe this is enough to get the Bucks to trade as Giannis Antetokounmpo, but this doesn't really make sense for us at this stage in time. Why would Giannis re-sign with us at the end of the year? What have we shown to suggest that he should stick around? And plus, I don't really want to give up these guys anyway. I would be all over potentially acquiring De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento, but the fit is not going to work for obvious reasons. Fox is being traded from Sacramento because he does not fit in the backcourt with Jaden Prospero. Now, obviously, it would be a lot easier to get him than it would be to get Giannis, and I don't think this trade offer is entirely far off from what Sacramento would need to do it. But if he's not going to fit in a backcourt with Jaden Prospero, Lord knows he's not going to fit with Scoot Henderson, who is a very similar player to that of Jaden Prospero. So because of that, it doesn't really make much sense for us to look at De'Aaron Fox as a guy we could acquire. I did some scouring of the trade market looking for some more size, but ultimately I couldn't find any deals I liked for us. So I think the Blazers are going to stand pat this year at the deadline and just keep it rolling with our current core. That doesn't mean the rest of the league's trade deadline won't be exciting. We've got some big moves, starting with a really intriguing 3-team deal with the Kings, Pelicans, and Heat. I love this deal for all 3 teams. So De'Aaron Fox is going to the Pelicans, who are currently in 7th place. They're looking for that 3rd star with Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram, and they're getting that with De'Aaron Fox. Now, obviously, Sacramento's going to need to get a lot here. Dyson Daniels, Apollo Cohn, and Fabian Huger are going to be 3 really nice players for their young core, and they're also getting 2 first-round picks. Now, I do want to point out The Pelicans had the rights to Milwaukee's first-round picks for the next 3 years. Unprotected in 2025, swap best in 2026, unprotected in 2027. Assuming Giannis is gone, those picks are going to be really good, and New Orleans is able to hold on to all of them. As for the third part of this deal, CJ McCollum is going to Miami to make the salaries work. He will reunite with Damian Lillard. The Heat are going to try to add another piece and keep it rolling with Jimmy Butler, while Fabian Huger heads to Sacramento. I think this is a slam dunk trade for all three teams. The Pelicans are giving up a lot, but they still keep their most valuable picks. They still have multiple good young players, such as Bryce Watson and Cameron Banks, who they drafted in the first round this year. And they add De'Aaron Fox, while the Kings get more than appropriate compensation. All right, now let's talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Where are the landing spots for him? And there are a number of teams out there who potentially had the package to do it. Pause. I think the Rockets could be in play. I think the Thunder could be in play. But there's another team I really like, and it's the San Antonio Spurs. And this is kind of a weird one because the Spurs had the worst record in the Western Conference. They went all in on building upon Victor Wembanyama, and it hasn't really worked out. They signed Zach LaVine, they signed Pascal Siakam, and they're not winning more games. However, they have the pieces to go out and trade for arguably the best player in the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who you're pairing with Victor Wembanyama. That is an unbelievable duo. Now, the Bucks will be getting a lot back. Jeremy Sohan, James Wiseman, 3 unprotected first-round picks from the Spurs, 2 of which are probably going to be in the top 10 this year. And then there's another part of this deal. Pascal Siakam and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope are going to the Dallas Mavericks, who look to add a third star and another role player alongside Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Going to Milwaukee will be Cole Anthony, Derek Lively, another unprotected first-round pick, and 3 seconds. So the Bucks are basically getting Jeremy Sohan, Cole Anthony, James Wiseman, Derek Lively, and 4 first-round picks, 2 of which, again, are probably going to be in the top 10 this year. I think that's fair compensation for a guy who's going to be gone in 4 months. The Bucks are not done, though. They'll be trading away Chris Middleton to the Pistons and Brook Lopez to the Suns. Detroit needs more spacing, while the Suns need another big. The Bucks will get back the contracts of Marvin Bagley and Jordan Clarkson, along with a first-rounder from each team. So the Bucks add 6 first-rounders as part of their fire sale. They're going to hold on to Drew Holiday, but he's probably going to be on the move during the offseason, and they're going to go all in with their new young core and all of their draft picks. Again, that's probably 2 inside the top 10 this year, but unfortunately for them, they don't have control of their own pick until 2028. The Houston Rockets have the best record in the league, and they are going all in on their title hopes, trading Jabari Smith and a first-rounder to the Jazz for Lauri Markkanen. I get this feels like a lot, but Jabari Smith is in year 3. He hasn't really gotten better. His efficiencies across the board are really bad. The Jazz see the upside with this, but the Rockets are getting a significantly better player, and that's really the one weakness they've had on their roster, another forward who can stretch the floor and shoot the ball, and now they're getting that. So those are going to be the 4 trades we have here during the deadline. 3 three-teamers and some surprises for sure. De'Aaron Fox is a Pelican. Giannis is a Spur. Lauri Markkanen is a Rocket, amongst other notable players being on the move. And the Western Conference got a lot better. The Rockets improved. The Mavericks improved. The Pelicans, who are in 7th place, they improved, while we ended up standing pat. We're going to take a look at the Phoenix Suns, who have also improved with the addition of Brook Lopez, who will be making his Suns debut. The Suns have been disappointing this year, 5 games under 500. They will start Bradley Beal. Don't get it twisted. He is starting. I don't know why he's off the bench here. He has come off the bench in around 25% of the team's games this year. I guess they're trying to experiment, throw stuff on the wall, hope it sticks, but he is going to start today. Should be a fun one here in Phoenix post-trade deadline. All hands on deck for the final 25 games of the season. And, of course, Scoot Henderson is back in the lineup for the Trailblazers after missing around 10 games with an injury. The Blazers, of course, held to form with no moves at the deadline, while the Phoenix Suns added to the interior, acquiring Brook Lopez from the Milwaukee Bucks in exchange for former Blazer Jordan Clarkson and a future first-round pick. The Suns have been disappointing this year. They're a few games under 500, largely because their defense has been really bad, and they need somebody down low who can protect the rim. Brook Lopez wins the tip against Ben Simmons, and we are underway here in the desert. Here's Scoot Henderson with a cross to the top of the key for the rookie, Darius Springer, who knocks down the triple for Portland, and they are on the board with a 3. Here's the rookie, Jace McClain out of Penn State. Knocks down a three of his own. McClain was drafted late in the first round, but he's been a mainstay in the Suns' starting lineup this year as Simons is in for the layup. Simons has really stepped up with a lot of these guys going down with injury. Here's Booker off the screen, lets it fly for three. And the Suns add to their lead. It's now 5-10. Here comes Springer, drives inside. Heavily contested layup is good because that's what this kid does. Put a man in front of him, won't matter. He's making the play. Here's Bradley Beal out to Durant. Kevin Durant hits the triple. The Suns are not missing from beyond the arc so far. Their three-point shooting, very impressive. Here's Booker inside now, no good. Nice defense down low by Simmons. And in transition, he is Nasir Little wide open for three. The advantages of having a center who can run the floor is that. Springer strips it away from Durant. Simmons out to Henderson. Fade away. Three ball is good in the corner. And the Blazers take the lead. Simmons still running the floor. Out to Springer. Bang! Portland on a huge run. They've scored the last 11 points with a trio of threes. Springer, baseline slam for the rookie. A powerful dunk for Darius Springer, who already has 10 points, a pair of threes for Springer as it's 20-15. Phoenix can't buy a bucket. And finally, it's Devin Booker in for the slam. 22-19. Springer out to a wide open man. It's Nasir Little. Portland cannot miss from deep. They lead it by 5. Here is Henderson trapped inside, hoping somebody gets open. It's Fear. Nasir Little. 3 for 3 from beyond the arc here in the first quarter. It's 34-26 with around 30 seconds to go. Bassey hands it off for Devin Booker, guarded by Little. Booker blows right by him and is in for the layup. 34-28 now. Here comes Scoot Henderson with a cross on Lee. Henderson with the slam. He's in the double figures here in the first quarter with 11. Just seconds left to go in the first quarter. Scoot again inside, gets it to Jovic. Out in the corner for Nasir Little, who misses the three, and that'll wrap up the first quarter. The Trailblazers lead 36-28. The offense looks dominant so far. Scoot, Little, and Springer all in the double figures, all ready for the Trailblazers. And Simons is going to get the scoring started with a nice step back. 10-point game. Here's Booker, baseline in the corner. For the lightsaber, it's Saben Lee, who knocks down the three. Did not mean for that to rhyme, but here we are. Nice move by Jeremy Grant inside for the reverse layup. Otto Porter Jr. was so frazzled that he calls a timeout. 5-point lead. Here comes Simons. Right-hand slam. And Furno getting up there, and it's a 7-point game. Here comes Booker with it over to Saben Lee. He's doubled. Booker open in the corner. Too damn easy. Booker brings it within 4, now 6, as the Suns look to claw back. Here's another three, and it will fall for Pat Connaughton, who was also part of the Brook Lopez trade as a throw-in for Phoenix. They're hoping that he can give them some high-energy minutes off the bench. There's Booker with the reverse dunk, and we are within one possession now, 46-43. Saben Lee off the pick and pop, has Connaughton wide open, knocks it down! Pat Connaughton, a great baseball player at the University of Notre Dame. Also, obviously, he can hoop as well, as it's a 2-point game. Blazers on top. Simmons inside for Nasir Little. Good layup and a nice pass there by Ben Simmons, who's doing a little bit of everything today with 4, 8, and 5. Here's Lee out to Booker in the corner. Quick closeout, and it won't matter. Devin Booker drains the three, and the Phoenix Suns are back on top for the first time since the first quarter. Their lead is short-lived, though, because Ben Simmons comes flying home in for the slam. 1-point game. Here's Scoot Henderson now. Crossover. Henderson loses it. It's stolen by Devin Booker in transition. Booker, step back. Wide open. Midi will fall. And the Suns are back on top. Book with 17. He leads all scorers. Here's Henderson over to Simmons. Simmons looking to get some room. Drives by Lee. Simmons in for the contested layup. He's on triple-double watch here in this first half. He already has 10 boards. Simmons lobs it up for Scoot Henderson. What a great pass by Ben Simmons, giving that ball plenty of loft so Scoot Henderson has time to make the play. And, of course, there's Henderson showing off his jaw-dropping athleticism. Pump fake handoff for Simmons. Ben drives inside. Contested layup is good. Ben Simmons now in the double figures. He's 4 assists shy of the triple-double, and we're still in the first half. Here's Bradley Beal with it. He is Durant wide open for three. Knocks it down. Kevin Durant's probably going to score that if he's double-teamed, but when he's wide open, that's just basically a guarantee. Simmons inside, out to Henderson. Scoot inside, going for the 360 layup, and it's no good. That would have been sick had he been able to make the play. And then on the other end, it's Jace McClain at the top of the key. Tipped in, intercepted by Anthony Simons. Simons lobs it up. Henderson again! Scoot Henderson going up, and away. Good job there by Simons to recognize that his teammate had more of an open lane to the basket than he did. 7-point game. Booker at the end of the first half, no good. It has been a high-scoring, offense-heavy first half, but it is the Blazers who lead it by 7. Ben Simmons with 10, 11, and 6. He's been very impressive. Scoot Henderson has been great ever since coming back from his injury. Today, no different. And the offense is clicking. The shooting has been good. The passing has been good. The cutting off the ball has been good. And let's keep it going here in the second half. It's Springer. Oh me, oh my. What a slam for the rookie. 71-64. Springer with the cross and the finish. What a play by Darius Springer. Crossing over, breaking ankles of his fellow rookie, Jace McClain, who's looking to get revenge here, and I guess he does, making the layup. Not quite as cool as a crossover dunk. 73-66. Here's Henderson inside. Makes the layup. Count the foul. It's an and one for Scoot Henderson, continuing his dominance. 75-66. Henderson brings it up the floor with 21. Scoot, step back in the corner for Simons. Contested three ball is good. Nice shot from Anthony Simons. It's a 12-point game. The Suns were able to build up a little bit of a lead in the second quarter, but Portland's gotten it right back. Here's Booker, though, off the tipped pass with the layup. Right place, right time. Good awareness to quickly retrieve the ball. Springer, another slam! Darius Springer's had like 4 wide-open dunks today. We haven't really seen the crazy dunks from him yet, but now we're getting them all at once. There's Simons with this steal. Portland on the fast break. Simmons inside. Scoot with the slam! Scoot Henderson's also gotten plenty of dunks today as it's a 14-point game. Simmons, wide open lane, takes it himself with the rack attack. This looks like vintage, aggressive Ben Simmons driving to the basket, showing off his passing as well. Here's Simmons once more, and he misses it. There is the Ben Simmons of the last few years coming back to fruition, and now the Suns have it on the other end. It's Booker out to Durant at the top of the key. Gets the screen from his new teammate, Brook Lopez. Durant, midi, will fall. And Kevin Durant back on the board for the Suns. He's got 16. Here's Scoot. Step back three. Count it! Scoot Henderson is making everything. That defender, too small. He's got 28 and 8. Have yourself a night. 91-80. Henderson inside. Posters, 2 defenders. That's the former Blazer Charles Bassey and Kevin Durant. And Scoot Henderson now with 2 30-point games since his injury. Why stop now, though? He hits a ridiculously impressive 3-point jumper, and the Blazers are turning this game into a blowout with how well Scoot is playing. Here's Pat Connaughton off the offensive rebound, though. Knocks down a 3 for Phoenix. The Suns trying to keep themselves in this, but Portland's offense has been too good all night long. Screen from Simmons. Here's Scoot Henderson inside. Another slam! I think the Blazers might break the rims at this pace because they have had so many ridiculous throwdowns today. It's a 15-point game going into the fourth quarter. We'll see if the Suns can make a rally with how well Portland's offense is playing. I'm not sure if it's possible. Scoot's out of the game. We'll see who can take over the scoring. Could it be Anthony Simons, who hits the step-back triple? 18-point lead. Simons again guarded by Saban Lee. Simons with room. Pull-up jumper will fall, and now it's Simons who's starting to heat up. He's got 21. It's a 19-point lead. Here's Devin Booker with it for the Suns. Booker lobs it up. What a play by the Suns. Saban Lee. He can get up there. Showing off the vertical. Here's Simons. Heaves up a prayer, and it's good. How did that shot go in? I have no idea. Other than that, he's in takeover mode. 17-point game. Melton lobs it up for Nasir Little. I'm surprised he didn't go for the dunk, but still a cool play nonetheless. 21-point game with around 4 minutes to go now. Portland looking to ice it. Here's Scoot. No good. Simmons with the board, though. He gets it out to Little for 3. Bang! That's a triple-double for Ben Simmons, and that will just about do it here. The Portland Trailblazers win it 136-115. The story of this game, obviously, the offense. Portland could not miss, really, from the 6-minute mark in the first quarter until the rest of the game. The offense got hot early, and they never cooled off. Scoot Henderson was unreal, and everybody else produced as well. Now, Devin Booker was quite good. He had 36 points, albeit on 35 shots. Durant was solid with 22 and 11. Beal was not great, 5 of 14. The rest of the Suns were honestly pretty efficient, and their offense was more than good enough to win the game. But the problem with this Phoenix team is that they've got so many guys who can score the basketball, but they don't have many great defenders, and even the addition of Brook Lopez was not able to fix that. Scoot Henderson, of course, led the way with 37 and 8. He was phenomenal. 26 for Simons, 23 for Springer, 20 for Little, triple-double for Ben Simmons. And those top 5 guys all did it on great efficiency, 60% from the field, 48% from 3. You are not going to have better shooting days than that, period. So what an offensive performance here for the Blazers with 136 points in regulation. And unfortunately, we lose our final 2 games going into the All-Star break. Although Scoot one-upped himself with 44 against Golden State. So that'll bring us into the All-Star break. We're still in 6th place, 30 and 26, tied with the Clippers. The Pelicans are on our tail with the addition of De'Aaron Fox. Minnesota's been playing well, unfortunately, because we had their draft pick. So we're probably going to spend the next 2 to 3 episodes going through the rest of the regular season. We'll see if the Trailblazers can possibly make the playoffs or at least grab a play-in spot, or if our decision to stand pat at the trade deadline proves to be a mistake. We're going to go through the All-Star break in the next episode, and our next prospect profile will be pretty soon as well. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.